Look at that slick promotion or transition. What do you think of that?
It's very nice.
Was it seamless?
Yes, your love of cinema shone through.
I probably blew someone's eardrums out, I bet.
It's all good.
I'm not good enough to know the sound, how to change that yet.
Yeah, it's all works in progress.
Oh, look, Foo Hat liked it. Dan Creative Versions. I have an outro, too.
Yep.
About to go to combat. Wait, can I do? Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Okay, for you people listening, I've never done a live stream, so I'm just pretty much testing how to do the features. I'm a boomer simp, I guess you could say. And then BaconMemes here was kind enough to join me on this disaster. So how was your day?
It was good. It was a day filled with financial advice, which no one should get from here.
Well, I was giving financial advice today, so that's good. Good
okay.
I didn't want to, but
oh, really? Was it like someone you knew in person, or?
No, it was an audit site.
Okay.
You get quite like technical assistance questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Don't always answer them right away, but
that makes sense. For people that know behind the scenes, I had audio difficulties, which is why the stream might have been a little late on the prep, but
yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah, it is. I accept all responsibility.
So, for people that are on subbing to my channel, I still am going to do a probably Sunday, maybe Monday podcast with Kingdom of Finance and Stone Cold Investing. So maybe in the future I'll do more lives, I guess. I don't know. See how fun this is. Oh, as a side note, I promised my next video would be on Peter Lynch's One Up on Wall Street, but life got in the way, so it's a little behind. I'm gonna try and do a video tomorrow. And I'll try and do that one maybe in pieces. Let's see. Does my audio suck? Do I need to turn it up or the mic?
You're coming through clean on my end. I don't know how I'm coming through on other people's.
Brig. Oh, I would bring him on. He won't come on. Chill.
If that is who I think it is, that would be a better guess than me.
Mm-hmm. But so the original title was to reveal all my secrets. So I guess I'll spill it now.
Yes,
all the secrets.
All the secrets.
No, not really.
Oh,
I'll be honest. I struggle like I don't know. Like I don't like to talk about investment ideas so much until I'm actually like in it. I don't know. I feel like people will ask and it's like, I don't know. Like if I haven't fully got my like I'll talk about Tractor Supply all day. I've bought it. It's all put away now. So I like Fabio or King. It's just tough for me to, I don't know. Part of it, I feel like it's like bad karma. Like you think you're so cocky about like something you're buying and then it's, you're going to brag about it and then it just crashes on you.
For me though, like for example, Triton, like for those that don't know, like since we're going on the record here, Dan and I both entered Triton long before the acquisition got announced. And we were
we crushed that.
Yeah, like we didn't even know that either of us were in it until like someone mentioned it.
Well, we did. We both came to it at different. I had seen it from one of my YouTube channels I follow. He covered it, so then I looked into it, and it was a very appealing business. And then I think I had mentioned before, I thought the market was mispricing the turnover of because they thought it was like, I think they priced it as a cyclical business, and if we went into a recession, they would get punished because people would stop buying like the containers.
Yeah,
but more I looked at it and I looked at trade magazines, I'm like, the cargo container companies are leasing these things on 7 to 9 year cycles.
Yep.
So I was like, you can't, even if a recession hit, it's such a short period, these containers can be used on cargo ships. They can't stop ordering them.
Yeah.
So I felt like they'd have to keep ordering them even if times got bad. So unlike Train, like we looked at, I think you and me, Train leased, which was Trinity, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Those average 50 years.
Oh yeah.
So there's nothing appealing about that investment. A company could just decide not to buy new or not to lease new train cars when times got rough. So, yeah, it was funny because I really thought it was a $90 stock, and it sold for like 85. So it was pretty close.
Yeah.
But I mean, people can discount whatever. I assess the price, and then I construct a discount I'm willing to pay. But I don't know. It's odd. It's good. It's easy to talk about after. It's hard if you're like in the middle of it.
Yeah, it was for me. I was just like, I think I'm finally over the fact that it got acquired. But
I honestly, I don't like that it got acquired.
Same here.
I'd rather, if I could, I would have rather it not. Like I would have rather given my 30% back, because I really wanted to own it long term. I was considering buying preferred shares too.
Oh, that would have been a great play.
I think I was probably going to buy, once I filled out my position, I was going to buy some preferred. I really liked the company.
Oh yeah.
It was exactly what I look for.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, a real toast to Triton.
Yep. Pour one out for the homies.
That was the second company I had bought this year, which was really crazy. I had Travel Center Americas bought. I was at a federal conference, and some people started talking about it in the chat. I only could briefly look at messages when I was in the hall. So I was like, what the hell's going on? And I just looked it up quickly. I'm like, oh my God. I didn't even think that was going to happen. That wasn't even what I thought would happen with it, really. But
like for me, I guess like one of the possible takeaways for people like going forward is like, I just wonder how many sectors and industries there are where the innovation is just changing up like the business model or the cost structure or the revenue stream. Like, because, like say, for example, SaaS and subscription has been the hot thing for quite some time, but Triton definitely like was onto something, going from unit sales to leasing, and like that smoothing of cash flows, like it really showed.
Yeah, and you could see from their financials and their presentations. So they were something I always think. I'm like, do I think the company, if I'm investing, are they going to take market share from a competitor, or are they going to just benefit from an expanding, what's the word? Oh my God.
Market.
Yeah. So just the addressable market gets bigger for everybody in that space, or are they taking someone else's piece? And if you're like, well, I want both, it's very hard to find a company that's doing both.
Yeah.
So I thought they were definitely taking market share. They were doing it really well. If you want to buy like a smaller company like that, I mean, if you don't think the addressable market's getting bigger or they're going to take share from competitors, I don't know. Like, I don't know why. So why are you so bullish on the company then? That's one of those, I wouldn't say it has to be there, but that's a pretty core idea, I would say.
That's how quality in a sense, like sort of manifests like between the margins and that.
Yeah.
Among other things.
That's big on my plate anyways, is, how do I think they're going to grow? I should have a good idea of that. And then I really want to see increasing cash flow and profitability metrics over long periods of time. But because I'm trying to figure out if they're going to have growing free cash flow in the future that's going to pay me a growing dividend.
Yeah.
But I've changed it up a bit. So I went, I've cut like a lot of my positions, and I'm going more in ETFs lately. So I am retreating to security, I guess you could say. So, which is okay. I mean, I don't think people, like, you can do that.
Yeah.
I don't like, I don't know. I just want to defend what I've done pretty well. I feel like COVID, for me, the COVID trades are finally kind of over at this point. So
that's one thing. You study this long enough, you realize that there's so many different ways to make and to lose money. Yeah, survival is its own virtue.
Yeah, because I usually in the past, before COVID, I probably carried 20-ish positions, and then SCHD came in 2019, and then just due to COVID, I think got up to like 40 something positions. So it was time to clean house. Some of the stuff just, I don't know. I didn't feel confident enough to keep it. Like Schwab, I thought about it. I'm like, I don't really want to do Schwab.
Oh,
So,
you've scratched the speculation itch and got it out your system.
yeah.
Very nice.
Is this the part I need to pull some comments up? Let's see. He won't come on. Bro, you can own Top Golf. That is a Ross Gerber investment and it sucks. There you go, Fuhat. You good. Wait, you're good, Dan. Do you possess me? It's the wrong your.
Yeah.
Give us all your dividend secrets. I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah. So it's good. I think I should bring this up. Let's see. Boy, this is a high class operation. I'm telling you right now. I think for this is going to be a great, if people don't, if you're a dividend investor, I think this is going to be a great year to add to SCHD because I think it's going to do poorly due to its exposure to the regional banks. Because when they did the reset in March, so that was before some of this, and it's an automatic. There's no person doing the input, so it uses certain metrics to look at companies, and it kept most of its regional bank exposure. So I can't imagine that'll all be there next year when they do the next was it mid-March when they do the new allocation. I mean, this is probably a really good year. It'll probably just hover, probably go lower than this, but for long-term dividend investors, this will be a good year to add to SCHD, I think. Do you own SCHD?
Sadly, I do not.
Okay.
I've been experimenting around with some different ETF ideas. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that one though. Like unless people really want me to be held to that fire.
I think there's there's definitely a few different ways to play ETFs. I don't know if people talk about it so much. You don't have to just buy VU.
No.
I'm not a Vanguard person, so I'll do State Street or I'll do Schwab ETFs. But there's enough Vanguard shills online. But I think I think this will have SCHD is going to probably not do great this year, which is when you want to buy it. So this might be a good year. You know, if like my Roth is SCHD, SCHG, basically sprinkled with some REITs. And, you know, last year SCHD was a good buy. And then now I would say buy the dividend for piece or split it both ways, I guess. It doesn't matter. So some of this will get cleaned up when they do the reallocation. They do, I think quarterly they'll change some of the percentages, but they don't change the investments only once a year. So.
Do you like what's your immediate thoughts when you see a portfolio that's just like all overlapping ETFs? Like some version of the NASDAQ with however many numbers, like multiples in one portfolio.
It's just kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know, like SCH. Well, I don't view it as overlapping as much if you're just getting a extra, like if you did SCHG and a SP 500 ETF, you're just hyper concentrated on, growth, large cap growth fund or investments. That might be, I mean, as long as people understand that, I don't think, but you're right. They don't understand the overlapping. But I should do a video, I think, maybe about like certain pairings people can do. I think I talked about with Kingdom, like, because I think at this point, like if you haven't invested for like a decade, you should probably be like 60-70% ETFs, but that should still suit your investment goals because, you know, if you're investing in something like I did in a previous video, like we talk about like expense ratios and 1 or 2 percentage performance changes. I mean, but I'm like, what's going to wreck someone long term is if you sell out your, all your holdings on the next crash, the next 2008. So, I mean, a different, even like if you have a 0.08 expense ratio or a 0.2, like go to $100,000, you're talking not that much of a difference. That's not going to make a huge change. What's going to make a huge change if you sell everything the next time we have a bad recession or something, that'll wreck you more than that.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Dan, talk about Wendy's. Dude.
Fuhat's been on Wendy's.
Fuhat. McDonald's. I don't know how else to tell you. I've owned McDonald's for over 20 years. I don't know why the F I would buy Wendy's. Seems like a clown stock to me. I don't know. I guess they have AI coming. So they said AI a bunch in their call. Is that why you want to look at them? Who covered Triton? I didn't cover Triton. Just BaconMemes and me, we were looking at Triton International. Wait, Triton.
Yeah, I think it was a misunderstanding of Triton.
Yeah, there's Triton, which was a container company that leased containers for cargo ships. And then there's Trinity, which does leases on train cars.
Yep.
Triton's a cool name, though.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
That's not, I'm sorry. Your stomach.
Yeah. No.
Why don't you like Vanguard ETFs? Okay. I don't think I've ever said, well, I don't like Vanguard ETFs because long ago I tried to buy a mutual fund and they required $5,000 to get into it. And it always left a sour taste in my mouth. I didn't really care for them after that. So I'll buy like I said, State Street. I like State Street ETFs. I like Schwab ETFs. Kind of stick to those if I can. I have Drogo is a good one too. That's a BlackRock ETF. That's fine too. But there's plenty of people online that like Vanguard, so you don't need me to like it. Do you have a cutoff?
I love the spelling on Dividend for like so many people.
It is funny. I should do merch Dividend. It is funny.
Yeah, just all inconsistent.
Payout ratio. Okay. Sorry, it's late. Do you have a cutoff when a new decision? No, because it just depends. Okay, I should probably make a chart someday. I kind of have like an expectation of the payout ratio compared to the yield. So it's like a sliding scale. Think of it as like a seesaw almost. So if it's something that's paying out at like the S&P 500's rate, like 1.6, 1.8, the payout ratio better be like 40% because I need to have them grow it like crazy to make it make sense for me. But if you're looking at like Altria, or a very mature company, they don't really have a lot of growth left in them. They basically exist at that point just to give money back to shareholders. Then I'd be okay with more. I would expect more, actually. I mean, like Pepsi, I expect a payout ratio of 60, 70%. That's just the way it would be. But yeah, if you're expecting it to be a fast, if you're expecting double-digit dividend growth over long periods of time, the payout ratio needs to be lower to represent that they could actually afford what you're actually modeling out. What channel? Okay, 1 second.
Oh, while you're looking, I know how I came across Triton International. That was, for me, it was the Business Brew podcast with Bill Brewster. He's got more of a value tilt, but he has like guest speakers on from like all sorts of different backgrounds.
Oh, so this guy covered it, dividends and income. So he's kind of weird. I saw an interview of him. He's this guy, he was like working at like a Home Depot, I think, or something like that. And he just decided he didn't want to work like that, be a chump or whatever. He like moved to like Malaysia or somewhere. I don't remember. And then he's living as cheap as he can. And then he's trying to take his money and build his dividend growth portfolio. So he does videos on a regular basis. I will say, of all the YouTube channels I follow, he's actually given me actionable research ideas or for investments, which most of you people watch, like most of the YouTube channels you follow, they're just giving you stuff from that's useless. They just cover topics that have already happened or don't have any value to you. I gave an example to Fabio. There was a channel. I saw all of a sudden a bunch of channels do dividend videos on Cummins Motors when it hit 250. And I'm like, you're too late. I was buying it below 200 about a year ago. So, but it didn't get any traction until it already gotten, to 250. So, I mean, it's very hard to find stuff that you can actually do with YouTube. But sometimes it can happen. So yeah, this isn't a bad channel. It's okay.
YouTube finance tier list. If you're ever like scraping for ideas for your channel. Good old BlackRock.
Look at all these comments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he used to be one of the regulars for a time there with Tobias Carlisle's Value After Hours.
Also Jason, right? Yeah. I posted on my page YouTube channels that I use and follow. One of the tracks is Dividend Investors. The other track's just investment topic people. I should do a video on those to talk about them a little bit. Wendy's has divvies. Okay, good for them. That's cool. Okay, we're done with that topic. It's funny though, because I'll tell I'm pretty active on Dividend Reddit. I'm not telling you what my name is, but I try and help people. And I can always envision people that start out with dividend investing, and it's Verizon, it's AT&T, it's probably Wendy's if it has like a 5% yield. It's always stuff like that. And then they throw Jeppy in there and they're 20 years old. So it's it's not wrong. It's just how everyone starts. You think that you just want, you want to get ahead and you want that maximum yield right away. But then a few years later, you're going to see you're way behind market return. And then you'll figure out, because you will figure out why you're behind, and then it'll start making sense. So
but
people this is a long time. It takes a long time to figure this stuff out. People, you think because of YouTube, maybe you've been in the markets for 2 years now. You're going to have all the answers because you have all these resources. But I mean, you got to fail a few times. You got to just experience certain things that happen in the markets and investing in general.
But I thought, if you went with something like a GE or a Johnson & Johnson pre-split or spinoffs, no, I'm sorry. But
they don't all have to be, I guess I shouldn't say, they don't all have to be fast-growing dividend growth companies, because the best returns, I think, the last 50 years were Exxon and Altria.
Yeah.
By it's Exxon, Altria, and Monster Drinks are the 3 best performing S&P companies, I think. So there's something to be said about a high dividend yielding company like that. They're not, I wouldn't just throw them out.
Even though I'm not a proper dividend investor or dividend growth, I will say that I imagine you've talked to family members about your investing ideas, right?
No,
really? Okay. Well, I mean, I was going to say, God forbid, say for example, someone gets hit with a bus or by a bus, they could probably explain passive investing to, their surviving children or, their loved ones. Whereas dividends, I would still rank that pretty high up there. Dividend growth of pretty simple enough to explain. Whereas say, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a millennial out there that inherits a crap ton of IBM stock. just a whole bunch of shares of IBM.
I mean, that's awesome but people that's awesome if you have a family member just give you something like that. Oh my God.
Yeah. But the concentration though would be.
I never intended to give my kids anything, but I have McDonald's, Lockheed Martin tucked away now in Home Depot. So I don't know. They're just sitting in a separate account. I guess they will get inherited, unless I don't know. I don't imagine ever cashing out, but
yeah. I mean, again, I don't imagine that the explanation would take that long.
I know.
It wouldn't be these things have to be in these percentages. If it gets over this percentage, rebalance this way.
The one people, all these people on YouTube, you guys are all interested in finance, but most people you talk to on a daily basis don't give a crap about this stuff.
Oh yeah.
To tell them to buy an S&P 500 ETF is already too much for them to think about. So even that's too much. So I just tell those types of people just to buy like a target date fund. Like those are great. You set it, forget it. You never have to think about it again. But the vast majority of people don't give a crap about any of this stuff.
No.
You know, they get to retirement, Social Security is all they got. Is what it is, right?
Yeah.
All right. I wanted to show this. I thought this was funny. So I saw this yesterday. So I brought this up on Kingdom's podcast because what I've been reading, I guess I'm kind of a Tesla doubter. I don't like Elon, but so I said like insurance companies are trying to figure out how to like insurance on EVs. It's EVs have not been around that long. So what I've been finding is that the insurance companies are basically either totaling cars where they get any damage because of the risk of the batteries basically catching on fire or becoming malfunction risks and stuff like that. Or like this, Rivian, I guess, has these very specific instructions about inspecting their vehicles after an accident. So Rivian has a book that comes out and they publish how you're supposed to repair their vehicles, like most companies.
Yep.
So to follow the process, these dealerships, just to change a bumper can cost $40,000 because of all the checks and inspections they have to do of the vehicle before they can fix it.
No.
Yeah. So like a bumper, this guy had his bumper hit and they had to, so what I'm thinking, they have to inspect the battery if there's any collisions, I'm betting.
Yep, that's my
because
guess.
If you crack those batteries in any way, you could either, water could get in or they could short. And when those things, they catch fire, you can't, people can go see those fires. So there was another guy too. This guy had a tailgate issue with his Rivian. $14,000 cost estimate. So two guys had vastly different costs. So I find it kind of intriguing. I think that's going to be a problem for EVs, I think, is how the insurance companies insure them. These costs are going to get, passed on to people that have insurance policies in general.
Damn.
So these are things that haven't been worked out, I don't think, entirely. That's why I'm not ready to get an EV myself yet.
Oh yeah. Like at the risk of displaying my ignorance for all time, at this point in time, May 5th or May 10th rather, 2023. I'm legitimately still have concerns about EVs as they currently are with salty roads, because I'm a more northern guy. Like that's
you and me both are, yeah.
Like
they put salt on they put salt and then now they put this chemical spray. And who knows how that interacts? The battery is right off the ground.
Yep. So it's not that I'm saying that it can't work or will never work. It's just more of I have questions and I don't know.
The other thing I've been following intently, because I invest in heavy equipment companies, so I've been following Tesla's semi truck more than just the cars. Because I don't think those lithium batteries don't make sense in heavy vehicles. They can't handle the weight of the batteries and the power output needed. It doesn't work.
Currently as constructed,
So Frito-Lay, Pepsi bought those Tesla trucks for one of their California facilities. They have a 400-ish mile range, and I guess that was one of the specific routes of those trucks was basically at the extent of those batteries, 400 miles. But what they found after 1 year, the batteries had already lost 10% of their range.
Oof.
Yeah. So I'm kind of following it roughly. One of the channels I posted on my page called Thunderfoot. If anybody wants to go, this guy's an engineer and he breaks down a lot of what Tesla's doing and saying, and he gives a counterpoint to it. So he's very entertaining. But I would say people should doubt some of the things and some of the claims that Elon makes with Tesla about some of his vehicles. I'm going to lose all my people here. Damn you right, I'm out.
That's what I hate though, is healthy skepticism just seems to just go by the wayside.
Yeah. But
Oh,
you make money if you're a cheerleader for Elon,
oh
I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, nah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So other
These
than that,
schedules.
I guess what else? The
Uh,
only other thing I was gonna financial wise, I guess I should bring up something financial because this came up a few times, like CVS.
ooh,
So this is kind of like, okay, well, it's got a good dividend, right? So I guess this is, I'm just giving, I just would give briefly like a dividend investor's opinion of CVS. Like I looked at it briefly last week. Yeah, the yield's good, but then the dividend growth, this is kind of deceptive. It's, 10% seems good, but then you look, they did not raise their dividend for a while. You have this huge period of time where basically, for all intents and purposes, 55.50. I mean, they didn't really, I mean, you can look here, look at the 50 cent. It was for years unchanged. So there's concerns about there's no growth there in the dividend. Other things I would be concerned about with CVS. Okay. You have share dilution, which isn't great. I don't
no,
like to see that. Not in a mature company like this.
yeah,
If they were still rapidly growing, like KLA, okay, fine. But this is a very mature company. And then also like profitability wise, you can look here and stock analysis. I know it's free, people. It's easy to show on the screen. So sue me. I have other ones, but they don't look as they're not as easy to show. But you can show the gross margin is in, more or less it's either stable, kind of declining, operating margins declining, profit margins down, free cash flow holding steady. Like, so there's nothing appealing about, they're not improving their profitability at all. So that's concerning. And then we can look at, debt's going up, right? So we got, where is it? Long-term debt, it's gone up pretty high. And then you can look here, where's Goodwill? Goodwill. So you can see they've been buying, I think everyone's aware that they're kind of trying to build this huge healthcare empire. So they have this huge goodwill balance. So it kind of tells the story of this company. They're trying to build out. I could tell you right now, their return on invested capital is going down. I guarantee it. Because like when you buy stuff, you're overpaying for everything you buy when you're trying to do this empire building like this. So let's see if I'm right. I mean, there you go. Okay. They used to have a return on invested capital in the 20s, and now we're ticking down to like a, 6, 7. So I would look at this and be like, they're building an empire. They're taking on a lot of debt. They are making poorer decisions, investing their capital over year. So all these things in total, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think this is a mature company, and they're desperately trying to keep being, growing, maybe provide some value, doing something. They're trying to just do something. I think they're just flailing in the wind. And they thought, well, we'll just start buying stuff because we have a lot of cash flow. This is what companies have to, when a company gets mature, they have a decision to make. Do they try and do this empire building, or do they start returning large amounts of cash back to investors through massive share buybacks and huge dividend raises? So every company gets to that point at some time in their history, right?
oh yeah, for sure.
And one example of a company that had that decision, Home Depot. So you can see, okay, here's return on invested capital, pretty much steady, not much of a difference. So, and we can look here, debt's probably going up. I know it is. Long-term debt is going up, but you can see like profitability is slightly improving over time. It's you're not getting huge jumps in a company this large, but they're trending upwards in their profitability. So it's stuff you like to see. Shares are going down. So this is a different perspective. These two companies became mature companies because Home Depot was only added like 20 stores, I think, in the last like decade. I don't know, they barely add stores anymore. Their revenue generation increases now come from like increasing offerings at the stores. They have price power, new services. So they made a different choice. They decided to give to give back to the shareholders that have invested in them. So I don't think people understand that delineation sometimes. No one's going to tell you which way they go. You have to look at the numbers, listen to what the CEO has to say. I guess both can be good strategies if they're executed properly. Depends on what you think is the right way to go. Maybe CVS will work out. Maybe they'll take over the world. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought up CVS and Home Depot, because like for example, when you say CVS, I kind of almost think like Walgreens. You like someone says Home Depot, I almost automatically think Lowe's. Like I can't help it, but like someone says Pepsi, I think Coke, or vice versa. Just kind of makes me chuckle. That
I would just say like there's more risk with CVS's approach than there is Home Depot's.
Yeah,
way more risk. But so you have to say, is the return potential worth that risk of what they're doing? Because if they buy the wrong companies, it's going to start going downhill really fast for CVS. They've got to execute flawlessly in their buying and their empire building to make it work. So I'd say the cards are stacked against them, but the return could be much greater than what Home Depot is doing, where you probably just get, market return plus maybe. So be it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I will say, like somewhat in fairness to CVS, and again, this isn't like me full on defending them, but I believe they've been making a push towards healthcare, possibly more on the insurance side, which may explain the Goodwill and the share dilution. But
they've bought lots of stuff. You can tell.
But like for me though, like I see Goodwill on a balance sheet, I immediately get a little skittish myself.
But so they buy stuff. Goodwill goes up because they only recognize the book value, and the additional goes Goodwill. When it goes down, there's some sort of impairment of the Goodwill on their balance sheet. So I think I mentioned that somewhere, like SoFi's Goodwill for Galileo did not go down on their 10K, so that was a positive. The auditors did not, if they felt it was worth more still than the Goodwill charge on the books. So you don't know how they're testing it per se. I don't know, but
but yeah. It's just kind of funny the nuance, and even like Home Depot and Lowe's, there's subtle differences between the two. But yeah, kind of funny how the market is.
Oh my God. You guys, like, you don't have to, like, if I buy something or I don't like something and Fabio buys something or whatever, we're like, you don't have to we can have different opinions on stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna call you an idiot for doing something I don't agree with. Unless you buy SoFi, I guess. But I don't think. Okay, Tyson. So I own Pepsi, McDonald's. I like companies that have the ability to control pricing of their products. And then like a product that's distinct and individualized, maybe a patent, like that they control. Tyson Food, they sell commodities. They just sell chicken. They have no ability to dictate the price of chicken. It's a commodity. It just goes by the market value, like oil. So I look at Tyson and I'm like, if they can't control their expenses, they're screwed because they can't control what they're charging for the chicken. The market dictates that. So people believe what you want. I mean, that's just I don't buy commoditized. Like I haven't bought Archer ADM or Tyson.
Oh yeah.
They can do well. They're cyclical businesses because, like I said, they cannot dictate the price of their goods. They can only control the expenses, which honestly, Tyson can't really control that at this point. They're struggling. And you have unionization efforts at meatpacking plants. I'm in a union, so I'm aware of stuff like that. The costs of labor are only going up in America. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
Minimum wages is going up. They're in New York. We're getting rid of farm wages. They're going to have to pay overtime. So over periods of time, wages are just going to improve for workers, and that's going to be a problem for meat processing companies, I think. because like again, they can't control the revenue side. Just not really. I said everyone do what you want. Maybe I'm an idiot, and maybe you'll make tendies on it. So
make tendies off.
But we can all have different opinions on an investment.
Oh, for sure.
Like I have oil. I have some oil investments, so I buy them occasionally for specific reasons based on oil prices. I don't think these are things you should buy and DCA into.
Yeah. I mean, hell, a popular one that's made the rounds is Musa. I saw and I understood the thesis, and I thought to myself, not for my money, or not with my money.
No.
And here I sit poor for it, but we'll see how it all plays out. And that's okay.
That's a play on their huge capital buybacks, right? They're giving back all their revenues basically in share buybacks and dividends.
Yeah, that's one of the catalysts for sure.
Though, and like I said, that can be really great for investors.
Oh yeah,
but they can take it too far. So
yes, certainly longer term.
But look at, was it AutoZone? Is that the one that everyone talks about?
Yeah.
It can work out really well for you.
Yeah,
like AutoZone's perfect for giving all their money back to shareholders because they don't really have a lot to do with, like, what are they going to do? Open more stores? I don't know how many more stores. How many more stores can they open before they start taking business away from their other stores?
Yeah.
When, they oversaturate some area. No.
No, he was mentioning CVS.
Yeah. Like I would have to see some sort of commitment to improving margins. I would like to see them stop buying stuff. Like it's not a no. I don't really like, it's not a no. It'd just be, I would just want to see some sort of change with CVS. Because I don't like where the trajectory of the company right now. I don't like it, but they could change it, and then that might be a good time. I don't know. They did pay down a lot of debt, I saw.
Yep. In my case, 0. I'll spoil that.
I'm waiting for someone to crap on me about owning Vornado. So someone go ahead. I bought a very small position in Vornado. I still think New York City is going to be fine long term. Maybe Vornado doesn't do well. It's fine.
There's inherent strengths for New York City, like geographically.
I could just pretend that every investment's perfect. I mean, if you want. It's funny when people give you crap about bad investments, because it's like, if you keep giving us crap, then people won't share their losses.
Yeah.
To give you examples of when it goes wrong, because it does go wrong. Yeah. But if you keep constantly badgering people online about like mistakes, I don't know, they're just going to show you the wins then, because nobody likes to get yelled at. Unless
it's Kramer.
I mean, I could shove my Tractor Supply freaking investment forward every day. I have a like $160 cost basis on Tractor Supply. I mean, but there's more learning with Vornado is a good learning lesson too. Bad? Whoa, really? How bad unionizing? Unions, I will tell you, like, unions are there. They're like insurance. You don't need them when times are good. You need a union when times are bad. When I work for the government, and we don't always have the nice people running, the government. So I don't know. But it's always odd to me when people that have never worked in a union have very strong opinions about how unions work. And they're always wrong. I can tell you that right now. I don't know why they feel like they have to have strong opinions about a union, unless you've been in one. Fairness doesn't matter. What's fair in life? But a union does a good job for people.
Yeah, because even
by and large, most unions, by and large, operate in a good manner that benefits their people. You can throw an example here or there to me, and I don't really care. Of course, it happens. Bad people, but more unionization is better for America. You're not going to convince me otherwise.
Even some like automakers or like component makers like had unionized employees, and like they actually worked through, and like everyone had to take a hit, but like they kept the factory in. Like, it happens.
We were cognizant like I was working for the state during the Great Recession. We were cognizant of how bad the state was doing, and we lowered our expectations about what we were going to get in the contract. So to just think that we are not aware of that and we just want the maximum all the time, we're aware of bad situations, and we fight for our rights, but we're not like, we don't live in a bubble. We understand there's other considerations. So we've had contracts where we didn't get raises for like 3 years, and then we didn't get any raises till like the end of the contract. So
thanks, Andrew Marshall.
Oh, look at this guy. Well, so I didn't consolidate into SCHD. I've had SCHD since 2019. So DGRO is the new position. I'm not an ETF person. I really have never been, because I didn't know you could even invest in ETFs until 10 years when I think in investing. I thought you had to have a 401k so you could buy mutual funds. So I have I had individual stocks for so long. ETFs were newer to me, but I don't know. You can't doubt. It just takes stress off the plate. Like a lot of the positions, like I had Merck. Okay, why I don't need Merck anymore because it's an SCHD, it's in Drogo, so I get rid of Merck. I had some other position that were bigger in there, and it's just gonna, like, I don't think you need these individual positions in these really large companies. When an ETF does a great job of giving you exposure, then you can focus your limited attention on finding really good companies that you can crush it. Because it's hard to find them. They take a lot of time if you're a 9-to-5 person like I am, I have kids and stuff. I don't have a lot of time. So I'm devoting my time now to, I don't want to research Home Depot or Merck. I just want to own them in an ETF. I want to find the next Tractor Supply. I want to find the next company like that, where I can have like 40% gains or plus. And I think that thing could go to $400 or $500 a share by the time I retire. So, or the next Triton that gets bought out. So
hopefully not bought out.
But I'm going to do a video later on, because I think that's what, because I'm like, what would Peter Lynch say if he wrote one up on Wall Street now? So I feel like, I don't think he would say the same thing. I feel like he would tell you to invest in mostly ETFs, and then maybe a very small portion of your portfolio would be companies that you have a very, good understanding of, and you make a calculated risk to give you an largely outsized return. So you're looking for something that's like a 10x or 5x opportunity, but those go wrong, so you still have your core holding.
I agree. Like, for example, Monster being that. I don't know if you were in one of the calls, but that was definitely a topic.
So, like, I know Strongman won't agree with this. Strongman, okay, VT, fine. he did a video once recognizing the Warhammer company. What's it called? Skyworks?
Yeah, maybe.
Someone's going to say it. The Warhammer people. Anyways, he was talking about how he was aware of that company by playing Warhammer, the game, and he understood like the passion of the people that played, and he understood like the pricing power that that company could have, and so like to me, like that would be like a Peter Lynchism, where you're mostly, say, you're 90% VT, but you have actionable information about this company and you think there's something there. Do a little 10% holding in that, you've now had hugely outperformed the market. I don't think it would have been, realistically you could do that.
It's funny.
He's going to kill me. I have to find
Holoplex.
Game Workshop.
Yep.
There we go.
GW.
Yeah.
Good old Echoes from Above is in the chat.
Oh, I don't know what the ticker is. I know it's done very well though. So
Yeah. It's kind of funny because I remember Games Workshop actually did their own little streaming thing. I don't know if it's still up or not, but yeah. Did you have anything else on the agenda? Because I still had like a couple more questions at least.
ooh, go ahead. I was
All
going to
right,
try and pull something up on Twitter, but go for it.
all right. This one might actually be a little bit more personal though. So if you want to avoid it, perfectly all right. So when it comes to investing, I imagine you fall under the camp of either take all emotion, leave emotions at the door, or like manage your emotions at bare minimum. You strike me as a managed emotions type of guy. That being said, some might argue marriage is the biggest investment realistically that many people will make in their lifetimes. How did you choose your investment? We don't have to go full Andrew Tate here, but
Oh, how to get married?
yeah. Like, what were you looking for? Stuff to encourage the younger people that are out there.
Well, I mean, technically, she met me. I didn't meet her, so
Oh, okay.
she she messaged me because we were in a Breaking Benjamin group, I guess. On what was before Facebook?
MySpace,
Yeah.
probably.
So
Yeah.
there was a Breaking Benjamin MySpace fan group, and then she messaged me because she saw that I was local.
Yep.
So we met for coffee and then went out a few times. So I predate all the dating apps basically.
Very nice.
So MySpace was a cool place to meet people.
It was.
Like long ago. Like you could just message people and meet them. I did it a few times. And people didn't like scream at you and call you names or call you a psycho or something. Like you could just message people and have a conversation, and then maybe you meet them for drinks somewhere. That I know that's not coming back that
No.
time, but
Yeah. It was a simpler time. It was a wholesome time where you could customize your own page with music.
yeah. Oh yeah, I had to figure out how to code that. So I
Yeah.
coded the whole MySpace page. You had to code for like the background. So you had to like cut and paste the computer coding to get it to do a picture and then the music.
Shout out to Tom, MySpace Tom.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like that's really cool. That's really cool as far as how all that happened. Because I just find the interaction between finance focused people or investors and emotions, and then you juxtapose that with the topic of marriage, and there's a huge split.
She could care. She doesn't care about
Yeah.
investing. So
Yeah.
her 401k is just, like I think it's like the Russell 2000 SP 500 small part of international. So I would never actively invest her money like that. I mean, you can't anyways. You only get the, mutual fund choices.
Yeah. If the restrictions are what they are, then got to play in the box.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, that's cool though, as far as explaining that to the listening and viewing audience. Um. Hmm. Yep.
I guess like the one trend I know, like people like expect something on the first date now, which is kind of funny. Like I see it online, like guys expect to get, something after dinner because they bought the dinner for the woman.
Oh,
So
oof.
I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah, that is pretty weird. Because
Maybe just look for trying to get a hug on the first date or something. Be a gentleman, for God's sakes. Like
I would restrict the the expectations, because like not to be like full on feminist here, but like I've seen what efforts women put themselves through for a date that they care about, and if she's dolled herself up, if she's halfway starved herself leading up to the date, like you don't want them to do that, but if they do that, like come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna compensate you with the entire thing and not expect anything either.
I would just tell people like make every best thing is like make everything a date for like the first month or two. Um, I wouldn't just hang out like at their place. I would try and try and find interesting things to do like in your area. Like I don't know. We just went on dates for like 3 months. I briefly met her parents, but we didn't just like go to her house and sit around on the couch. Like I found a rock climbing gym. Then we did rock and bowling, and I found like a hiking trail nearby. Everything was like a specific date, and then we just go our separate ways. So,
Oh, see that there's imagination and creativity.
but like the first date with a girl, dinner and a movie is the stupidest idea you could think of. It's so unoriginal. They won't remember it. Like do something original on a first date that like the girl might find interesting. Um, I don't know.
You're asking for people to have imagination. That's that's a tough ask.
This was about dividends. Now it's about
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, dividends are life, and life is messy. Life is. Anyways, I thank you for opening up on that one though, because that's a big topic.
You have to navigate dating apps. I don't know what to tell you about those. So.
Oh yeah, nah. Yeah, I would recommend avoiding those, me personally. But yeah, like and I'm not gonna make women into saints or lionize guys. Like we're all people. Like some decency both ways would probably produces good results. Like the one thing I will say on the topic though, like to try and wrap things up on my end, is it's kind of funny how, like, if you ask yourself, is this if this person is like the one, or like is this person the best one for me? Statistically, the answer is probably not. But that being said, like I imagine there's arguments that, like, if they really like and care about you and their personal character is that good, then does the next one being better for you matter? At some point, are we over optimizing? Are we splitting hairs over, like, 0.001% of expense ratio?
I know.
Yeah.
You kind of are. Some people I know that, yeah, they have a very specific list they want from like a partner, and
Yeah.
they're single. So
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't have expectations necessarily. So
Yep. Nah, it's yep. All right. Anyways, balls is in your court. What direction would you like to go?
well, we're at an hour. Wow.
Yes.
Time flies.
I got free time. Like, I budgeted time for this.
So I was trying to find like Jeremy Lafayette or whatever his name is.
Oh no.
He posted this tweet, and it was like, "What are your top 3 investments or something?"
Oh no.
I can't find it, and it was just so sad, like to me to see like it's just like Tesla, SoFi, Palantir, freaking speculative share diluting trash over and over again, and that was like that's probably all their portfolio was, like unprofitable garbage. I can't even understand. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think these retail people like understand, like when we make like price to perfection, you can't really tell someone what that means until they experience it.
Oh yeah.
So you have a company priced for perfection. When anything goes off the rails, when it becomes a not perfect company, the stock gets brutalized. Like that's when you see those 20-30% drops.
Yeah, it's hard to tell people that IBM was once viewed as, the Apple of its time, or the Tesla of its time. Like, it's really difficult to do that.
Mm.
But yeah. What would you say would be your top 3 investments of all time?
My
Hashtag not
favorite, or
financials. Yeah, favorite or top, either or.
I mean, it'd be McDonald's, Lockheed Martin, honestly, Tractor Supply. I'm pretty proud of, so
Very nice.
I will carry that one. I love that. So, and I remember like I would get people like I brought up in certain Reddit groups and stuff, and like they're like, why would Tractor Supply had a multiple higher than Lowe's when I was buying it, like 16 to 19 or something, and they're like, oh, it's overvalued. I'm like, but you don't like the future prospects of one are much better than the other company, so it deserves a better multiple. But this goes back like everything money people, like
No.
their inability to value a company is why I dislike these value investors like him. They don't have any idea how to value a company. So you would look at what the cash flows of Tractor Supply compared to Home Depot. I don't know. I don't know what they would look at, but they would tell you they're the same company or something. I'm like, that's incorrect. Tractor Supply deserves to be valued higher than Home Depot. They just have better prospects for growth in the future. But I think value investors, you rely too much on the numbers of past performance. And I can see some of these value people, like I know they're just flailing in the wind. They don't have the creativity to look at the future, combine it with the financials, and they'll fail. But they'll think they did everything right. They looked at the numbers, they ran the models properly, and you have no competitive advantage doing that.
Oh yeah, especially when
that's the thing. You don't have an advantage over Wall Street doing modeling of past performance. You don't. You just won't. So if that's how you're investing, and I've seen some of these value channels that people link, I don't follow any of them, that bought PayPal or Intel. I could have told you not to buy these companies a year ago. I don't understand, but I guess if you look at the past numbers, you can make it work. But these are companies in bad situations. Intel is just getting obliterated. You want to run all the past performance and do linear projections forward if you want. That's not looking at the company itself. Understand they're getting destroyed by AMD. Or PayPal. Like, what the hell would you buy? I don't understand. I guess speculate on PayPal, but long-term investment, like I don't think it's crazy. But
yeah, PayPal has me a little gun shy myself.
But like if I could tell people one thing, you don't have a competitive advantage against Wall Street being a value investor, where you use like a DCF and that tells you what to buy stuff. You're just not going to perform well. I could see the future of Tractor Supply. If you plugged it into a value DCF, you would have thought it was too expensive. But I mean, I have 160 cost basis and it's worth 240 right now. So I don't
call that winning.
I don't know, but that's why I would tell people at this point, it's like just go mostly ETFs, make a few targeted shots at individual stocks and things that are in your circle of competency. Like I have friends and my brother are engineers. So my investments in heavy equipment and HVAC technology, like it's not just me. I can pull knowledge from people. So I have a competitive advantage, I think, because I don't know if Wall Street people can do that. These analysts, maybe, but I think I have a shot. But just to run a DCF on like Carrier and just, I don't know, you're going to get screwed. Yeah. So you'd just be better off buying them on ETF at that point. Yeah. But I think I don't know. But they're like, it's creativity is part of it, but creativity blended with the knowledge of financials. I don't know.
I will say this much for quote unquote financial advice. Don't use a paid screen like in Everything Money. Joel Greenblatt has a value investing type thing for free.
Like Ashworth, that the dean of value has a whole website at the Stern Business School of value models.
Yeah,
there's like 100 for every conceivable thing you could imagine. You can download those. I I built 6 models on Google Sheets like 2 weeks ago. So maybe I'll eventually like show them, because my Excel ones look terrible. But I mean, nothing. I built a free cash flow model that has optionality and I can adjust it. I built it in one night, and you're going to pay Paul $30 a month for that garbage at Everything Money. I built a better version of his thing in one night. It's crazy. But like I said, you got, I don't know. I think that type of investing, Paul bought Carnival Cruise over $20. Like, he's a freaking joke. I don't think I think the video's still up. People can go back 2020. He was talking about Carnival Cruise Lines like a story investor. So, but anyways.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. But even said all that, people, I'm going to be mostly ETFs in the next 5 years. So maybe that says like I can pick stocks and I'm still going to be mostly ETFs. That's my transition plan. Oh God. The finance gang.
Yep.
I don't know what that is. 20 years. Yeah. 20
That's
years.
Delusional.
If you build a free cash flow model, if you change the variables even slightly, the model goes out of whack. You could change a percentage by 1%, and you could go from a $200 buy price range to like $280. So for people to rely on that solely for investing is lunacy. Like,
especially as
lunacy. Like, you're not going to win that way.
Like, it's really broken and really bad.
It's broken, and you end up buying. You buy crappy companies that are dying when you invest like Paul, because you're looking for deep discounts and low PE ratios with high free cash flows. So okay, you're gonna come across mature companies that aren't growing and probably are trending down and dying. That's just a really bad way to invest.
Even then, like, I'm not going to go into the minutia of the nitty gritty of how their model's broken.
Yeah. Strongman did a really good job destroying their model.
Oh yeah.
I think it was last year. He did a really good video on it. He's like 20 minutes plus on. Like, he's much better at that than I am, but he broke down all the pieces of why their model sucks. For anybody, like, he did a better job than I could. US Foods. What is that? No, he was not. He said he was buying the stock. He wasn't doing that put stuff when his channel first started. He did that later. I think he started doing the covered puts because he was so bad at investing when he started his channel. He used to talk about investments and what it was in his portfolio. If you go back to like his first year or so investing, like, I followed a lot of channels because I was home doing work during COVID, but he used to talk about his investments in his portfolio and he was buying stocks. And then I honestly think he just did so badly at it. He's like, I can't keep doing this. I'm getting wrecked. Now I'm going to talk about puts because then I can pretend I know what I'm doing. And you can't say I'm overvaluing stocks now because I'm buying whatever his put strategy is. So, I don't know. He's a clown still. If you were that rich, I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would do any of what he's doing. If he's as rich as we think he is, but
that I will defer to Dan.
You must have heard me mention DLN in the past. Did you hear me mention that?
I didn't.
No, that's Jason.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a member. I don't know what.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's in the Capital Mindset.
Oh, well, I mean, my Roth is just SCHD, SCHG. And then I have Drogo SCHD also in my normal brokerage. I'm okay. I'm intrigued by the Wisdomtree ETFs. I don't have them, but I find them interesting. So they do a fundamental they invest using their own proprietary fundamental index function. So for people that don't know, fundamental, there's market weighted indexes and there's fundamental indexes where they have like evaluation metrics that they follow, which a boglehead would hate because they're like, well, people are clowns, and if you have a fundamental analysis, you're picking stocks. So, but I think like the expense ratio is a little higher because they pay monthly. So it's a basket of holdings, and then they pay every month whatever dividends they get, they pay to you. That's why the expense ratio is higher. So you're not getting a single digit expense ratio with monthly paying. Like, it's just not happening. But you're getting a 2.6-ish yield minus the expense ratio. You're getting an above average return. I think the growth of their dividend, this one's the large cap. Yeah, Wisdomtree large cap. This is like 300 of the biggest dividend paying companies in America. The other one is a dividend growth, DGRW. But I find this interesting. I don't own it, but if you're getting towards retirement and you need a monthly paying dividend asset, I think this is potentially a better option than realty income. I think this would be a better performing investment. I don't know yet, but I find it interesting for people. I mean, the 5-year return's pretty good. They have this chart on there, which I find interesting. So 5 years, you turn 10,000 into like 15. I mean, so it's something to think about. They have, this one's the large cap. Like I said, like 300 biggest dividend stocks. They have the total, this one's kind of cool. It's the total dividend market. It's like every dividend paying stock in America, I think. DTD. It's very small fund though. It's very small. There's not a lot of assets. This is the big one everyone knows. DGRW is their growth fund, which is actually held up. It's held up actually really well this year. We'll be done soon. So
it's all good.
This guy's speaking my language. So most dividend investments are down this year because of big tech has rallied, right? So actually, if you compare, all right, let's do that. So year to date, fine, we'll do total return. It's actually held up very well. I'm really impressed by it. I'm just watching these Wisdomtree ETFs right now, but it's held up better than almost every dividend ETF this year. Drogo is just treading water, which I get. SCHD, no one's surprised it's down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this DGRW is holding up close to the market. So here's what I would tell someone like, okay, DGRW has a higher expense ratio, 0.28. DGRO is 0.08. But you can look at it is performing over long periods of time much better, which just can justify the higher expense ratio. It's not like a huge, like the difference between 0.08 and 0.28. It's not that big a difference. People get out of hand about this. Like the difference between 0.08 and 1 is a huge difference. But I don't know. But again, like I've said, like if you sell the next recession, who cares about the expense ratio? You've lost anyways. And if you paper hand it, who cares about the expense ratio? So, should I throw VT in there? You want to?
Yeah, why not? Just for fun.
we'll dog on it. There you go. I just don't like international investments. Maybe I'll make a video about. I think international investments are foolish, but
for me,
I've had them. I've had them in the past, and I sold them because they didn't do anything. It was really sad. So,
yeah, whatever. For me, it's coming to terms with the accounting and governance nuances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've come to respect those a whole lot as time has gone by.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not recommending Wisdomtree, but it's interesting. Like people want to look at it. I mean, you could buy DLN and you could hold it your whole life, and then you'd have a monthly paying ETF when you go into retirement that's still growing. It's still growing above inflation. So you have to find dividend growers that are above inflation. Otherwise, you have to keep reinvesting the dividend. You need to get to a point where you're not reinvesting the dividend, but the dividend keeps growing so that you don't lose buying power as you retire. That's the problem with these super big companies that don't grow their dividend anymore. You're just going to lose buying power. You have to keep reinvesting the dividend. And then what's the point of that?
Yep.
Fuhad has told me like 8 things are good today. Screw that, Dan. Wait, it was good, and then screw that. We just went all over the place.
I forget what exactly the topic was. There's also like a slight lag when it comes to things coming to me.
Yeah, I just like international, like to pretend that the rest of the world works like the US, it doesn't.
No.
Like the governments have interests and stakes in the corporation of their countries. That's a lot of the rest of the world. So the company doesn't work for you, investor. The company works for the government because the government can influence their decision making. I'm out. I'm not investing in something like that. I want them to work for me exclusively.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Fuhad is adamant about WT.
I don't know what is that?
Shoot, I forget. Is it it's probably Wisdomtree is my rough guess.
You can buy the company actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's financial services, which is beyond me. So,
I don't know.
Ooh, there's a question that just came in.
Negative. Screw that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can like their product. You don't have to buy the company.
Yeah. My guess is you go with total return and then you juxtapose that to the inflation rate.
Yeah.
You do technical analysis.
Well, you can look at like historical inflation rate.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't know in the future. You can only guess based on past inflation data. I mean, who would have told you we would have gone through this 2 years ago with what would it get up to 9% inflation?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep. It rude.
I mean, I would just tell somebody, look, just find an ETF that you can stick to, and yeah. Anyways, do you have any parting thoughts before I play my sweet outro? Any other things or?
Not at this time. I mean, like outside of just asking about your feedback with this experiment, like discounting my audio difficulties.
It sounds good. I thought you were crackling at the beginning, but
okay, yeah.
Oh my god, I know who that is now. Where it all makes sense.
Yeah, it adds up.
All right, well, remove that. So this is interesting. At least I know how to do this now.
Yep. I hope we as the audience get to look forward to the next guest you have on.
Yeah, maybe I'll grill. Who else can I grill?
Maybe you could get Julius, or do you think Big Pharma Show might actually like hop on now that it's like the test run has been done?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, big hopes. Like I had hopes that was going to happen.
He can come on and talk about pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, it would be interesting, like having a sector specialist. That'd be cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, we are going to end this. I'm going to try and do my sweet outro. I might screw it up, but we will see. So thanks for joining, and thank you, BaconMemes.
Yep. Thank you
coming
for having
on.
Me. Yep.
All right. And we'll be seeing you guys later.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.